I think a lot about pumpkins, trees, and coloring. That's literally all the three things I think about. But,
I love it. Good morning, Glendora. Taylor here with another episode where we talk to business owners and people in our community who are making a mark. And today I'm really excited to talk to Mary Blandino. Mary, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here. Good morning, Glendora.
Yeah, I love that we're in the field.
Yes, welcome to my home, 3 months
it.
out of the year.
Yeah.
Yes, some people might not recognize it without the tent.
Right.
And so I would say that from October to December, I basically live here. And I was telling you earlier that a lot of the times people think I come from out of town,
Right.
but I am born and raised here in Glendora. So,
Yeah.
it is my hometown. And on the off season, I am also a teacher and an artist.
Okay.
So I like to kind of bounce around with all kinds of creative endeavors, and business has been my biggest art form lately.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, as far as the lot goes, share a little bit about the history of when this got started within you or your family, or how did the lot go about?
Well, I grew up doing Christmas trees with my dad.
Okay.
It was his family business of 40 years. So my parents moved here in the 80s, and so we live right down the street. I always kind of worked with him, so we never had a traditional Christmas.
Okay.
I lived on the lot, and so
Really?
his employees were my family. Like, they saw me grow up.
Yeah.
And I did everything from the bottom up. So he basically had me, like, as a kid, I was sweeping the lot, raking leaves, taking out the trash. Eventually I graduated to being a cashier, and
Wow.
I always kind of juggled many different jobs. He was very supportive of me. Both my parents were very supportive of me and my sister, who is also an artist, of kind of like being creative.
Yeah.
So I did all the things. I was a lifeguard, I was a waitress, I became a teacher, and I think all of those things got me to where I am today, to like culminate into this really kind of niche seasonal business.
Right.
Because I now have reached the point where it's time to do the behind the scenes, the business side,
Right.
where I'm, learning about just how the business operates, and
It's like a whole other world.
it's a whole nother world
On the back end. I know.
And I love it. I love it so much.
That's so cool.
Yeah, my dad was a true entrepreneur to the
Yeah.
core. He did all kinds of things, from flower shop to catering to cars to tow trucks to Christmas trees.
Wow.
And so
That's cool.
I would say every time we drove by this lot,
Yeah.
I would say, why don't we have a Christmas tree lot there?
Yeah.
And it took us a while to figure it out. There are some restrictions when it comes to where you can have a lot, and no, I don't own this lot. I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
This is private property, but
Okay.
I don't own it. I rent,
Okay.
and we happen to be having lunch right here at the eatery, and
Okay.
Don comes up to my dad, he sees his shirt and says, "Hey, you're the Christmas tree guy, why don't you have a lot right there?" And he said, we don't know, we can't seem to get a hold of anyone. He had been calling, emailing, and he goes, "Why don't you just talk to Steve? He lives right there behind the wall."
Really?
And so it was like that, that we
Wow.
basically set up shop. This will be our 5th year here in Glendora.
How cool.
But we have 2 other locations.
Okay.
Pasadena and Eagle Rock have been going on,
Oh, really?
30 years.
Wow.
basically.
Were those the first ones? Was Pasadena or
Yes,
Eagle?
Pasadena, Eagle Rock.
Okay.
Actually, he had up to 15 locations at one point in the 80s. Like,
Whoa.
there was a lot going on.
It's a pretty big operation.
It was a
for-
big
yeah,
operation.
Wow.
Yeah. And so over the years, things change, right?
Right.
You can understand that it's got a lot to do with your location and then supply. And so he just kind of scaled back over the years, and I always worked with him. However, I focused on other things that, like I said, gave me the skills to finally, where I'm at now, all come together to be this really, really fun experience for the community, because that's what it turned into for me. It's really great to see people come back every year. And a lot of the kids that I see, I also am their art teacher.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
So I tried something new that he kind of was afraid of, where I said, hey, when we open the pumpkin patch, a lot of people aren't sure if I'm the same person for pumpkins and Christmas trees.
Oh.
But I opened the pumpkin patch as mostly it's actually to get the operation set up. It's to make sure that the lights work.
Gotcha.
And everything is a smooth operation and whatnot, because you can get a pumpkin anywhere,
right?
But why would you come to us?
Yeah.
Well, I found that just setting up the pumpkins and sitting here wasn't enough for me. I thought, I'm that person I gotta do something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paint this pumpkin. I had my cart of paint, right out in the car, so I'll just bring it up. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we could all sit and paint together? Right?
Yeah.
It's not a new idea, but it was something that I noticed that the community really liked. And
and that's not really being done in our community.
I don't know. I guess not.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone should do it.
Right.
And we have this beautiful space that just kind of transforms during the holiday time.
Yeah.
And I'm wanting to carry through with my dad's vision of community. He was really, really big on family, small town, your community. And so the pumpkin thing just really kind of took off, because he was like, oh no, that's a terrible idea. I don't recommend that.
Because he was just all Christmas trees.
He was,
for the most part.
He was very focused on the trees, and pumpkins was more of a, you get started, you get your operation running, and it's more marketing.
I see.
Really, it's more of because 4 weeks isn't a lot of time to have people say, hi, hello, here I am.
Right.
But I saw an opportunity being a creative person. I thought, well, what are we doing here? We got to do something together. It's more fun when we're together. and painting is my
your
thing.
Right.
So
let me try to blend the two.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out.
Yeah. I know that was how we found you, was this last pumpkin season. My daughter and everyone came, and they talked about it for days after.
Oh, I was so glad to hear that.
Yeah. And that was how it all started. I mean, that's how I got introduced to you, was my wife. She was like, man, that's the first time that was so cool, And she had a lot of good things to say about it, and that's how I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know they did that.
And see, that makes me so happy, because that has been my goal, is to, provide something for the community, and they've been so supportive, and I love this town. And when it comes to Christmas trees, the one thing people will say is oh, well, what do you do for the tree time? Do you paint the trees, or what kind of thing you got going? And I thought, well, it's pretty much just the trees. They are,
it is what it is.
They are their own thing. I do custom flocking though, which is a kind of way of painting trees.
Sure.
I have fun with it, but it's mainly all about the trees, and I have the opportunity to deliver Christmas spirit. That's who I am. I'm the middleman. Another thing is that I'm not a grower. I do not own the farm.
Okay.
But I have a nice relationship that I've carried on, that my dad had for 4 years, with these two small growers. So when you buy a tree from us, you're supporting a small grower. And
that's great.
I fly up there. They walk me through the field.
Really?
Yeah, I got to hand pick the trees. I know so much about trees. Trees make me so excited.
I love that. That's cool.
So that's what the Christmas time is about for us. I like to deliver that holiday spirit. I'm not here to sell something. I'm here to pass on that tradition. And we usually have you'll find something. And it's really funny when you see a tree and one person will walk by and say, well, oh gosh, that's the most beautiful tree I've ever seen. And then the next person 5 minutes later is like, that's the ugliest tree I've ever seen. And so it's like, it's kind of like they are all unique, just like people.
Right.
And my job is just to take care of them.
I love that.
Really.
Yeah.
I am a little tree babysitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. No, actually, I wanted to say for this last Halloween, because we moved our office in August, and we actually made it an office thing, because all of our people in our office, and I just wanted to share this because I thought it was cool. Everyone in our office has small kids, and we're very family focused. And one of the things that day was my wife and our kids came to that pumpkin patch, but it was like a community thing. So our whole office brought their kids and they walked down.
Oh, awesome.
And it was just so cool because we talked about it for the next couple of days. And I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I feel like time together like that is very memorable and it goes a long way because those are the memories that I have, you know, with my family around Christmas time, going to get our tree. I mean, I lived on the lot, but, you know, going to bring our tree home together, decorating it.
Absolutely.
I think that it's pretty special. And I, you know, another question I get is I have no preference on real trees versus
fake trees.
You know,
I'm sure you probably get asked
each
that
their own.
Right.
You know, I considered it. I thought, ooh, that would be a great business. But but you know what? It's really more about what it means.
Sure.
And the time we get together. So
that's awesome. So for the lot, for people that maybe don't know that it's here, what do the dates look like for, like, what events you have? The pumpkin and you have the trees, right? What do the dates look like for that?
Well, we are always on schedule to set up and be open by October 1st.
Okay.
So usually what happens is, because I'm a small business, I'm literally one person and we are a small business. I have like 10 regular employees.
Okay.
Between like 3 locations.
Gotcha.
And yes, we have a lot of helpers and things for different parts of the operation, but we start setting up usually like a couple days before October 1st, but the goal is to be up and running by that first weekend of October.
Okay.
And so I am open every day for the month of October.
Wow.
And I think what people might not know is that it takes a lot of prep and off-season planning to get here, because a lot of the time it's like, oh, well, you're only there for a month, you know. But it's right now is the time where I'm starting to, you know, talk to the growers, make my orders. It's all about pumpkins right now. So I had a really cool field trip to Fillmore last year to check out a new pumpkin farm. And I'm always kind of trying to think of new varieties that I can bring on board. We do some events. The pumpkin painting station that I have is open all the time. I kind of run it like a cafe, because I'm a server by nature, and you know, I feel like I'm here to serve. So it's like a little table set up where you come and you pick out your pumpkin, and then you tell me what colors you need, and you just sit down and have fun. You make a mess because you don't really want to make it at home sometimes.
Right.
But here we're on this beautiful dirt lot. You just splash on the floor. It's fine. Right. And so, that kind of is how it operates. You know, every year I try to add a little bit something new.
That's awesome.
So after that, in November, we take a little bit of a break. It's a transition time for me. So
I'm sure
it's a good opportunity to add something new, but well. I can really, that holiday stroll we have in the middle of November, I'm like barely like trying to like switch over from October to December, and it's crunch time for me in switching over to the trees. So even that 2 weeks there's not a lot of downtime.
Totally pivoting from pumpkins to trees.
Like I literally am like, boom.
That's
good.
great.
It's good.
That's awesome. I want to pivot a little, because I think that I want to touch on, because naturally, selfishly, I'm a creative person as well. I'm no artist, but I'm a musician, so I guess it's a form of art.
It totally is.
You know?
Yes.
But I want to talk about that because I'm sure people have seen some of your work in town. I mean, like across the street, we're looking at it. Share a little bit of, how long have you been doing art? Has it been since you were a kid? You naturally just loved it?
Yes, I've always loved, I love colors. I like to color, that's my thing. I like to color, and it doesn't matter what mode it is. I basically went through all of like grade school, loving to color. My family was so supportive of that. I went to St. Dorothy's, and then to St. Lucy's, where I did the independent art program. My teacher kind of noticed that I just loved the supply room. I would just go in there and organize all the supplies because it gave me joy. And she's like, would you like to sit over here in the corner by yourself and do your own thing? And I was like,
yes, please.
So I did that, and ended up going to Cal Poly. So I do have a bachelor's of fine arts, of studio arts, painting, drawing, ceramics, all the things. It's something I do for fun, and I will say it's tricky when you also thought you wanted to do it for like business, because it can kind of change your mind in terms of how you want to create things, because you want to create things that have purpose or maybe for business, but I can't tell you how much teaching kids changed my perspective, because teaching kids art was a new way for me to kind of remember that we're always learning, we're always creating in it, and that's what the point is. It's still about community. It's about creating together and sharing that creative energy. So that's why I say I'm a creative arts enthusiast, because after I went to Cal Poly, I thought, what am I gonna do with this? And that naturally kind of is where I combined my dad's like kind of business opportunities and my own creative desires. It just it all came from teaching kids. I think that was something that really, hey you guys, good morning. Good morning, Glendora. That was something that really gave me this energy to move forward with it, and I'll paint on anything. That's so cool. And I have a lot of creative friends who, like my friends here at Really Design Company, designed this mural here. They transformed the space. They've done so much great work for a lot of the local schools here, and
how cool.
And so I'm just happy to be around creative people. Honestly.
Okay, so that's really interesting, because I found personally for me, and maybe this wasn't for you because it's a little different, but almost it was hard for me to pivot from playing music because I was passionate about it to now wanting to do it for like work.
You
know? And then there was a part of me that was like, this kind of ruins the enjoyment I had of it, because now I feel like I have to do it.
I can't.
Was there a little bit of that when you were?
I think navigating the things that you're drawn to versus the things that you feel like you should do or you have to do can kind of come together. And so I mean, for me, I just poured my whole heart into inspiring others to be creative and find what it was for them. And I think that's what I think that's what kept me from feeling
like burnt out.
Because I'm still recovering from burnout. I feel like, I mean, this job here at the lot, it's a physical job. It's physically very intense. However, I love being out there and moving around. That's also what gives me energy. So learning the balance of rest and not forcing it, because I don't know about you, but as a creative person, I feel like when I'm trying to, come up with an idea or fine tune what I'm working on, if you try and force it, sometimes it falls flat.
Yeah.
But if you go outside, you take a walk, you switch it up, you do a different type of art or creative thing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, whoa. Or just talking to people, just saying like, hey, I've been thinking a lot about pumpkins. I don't know. I think a lot about pumpkins, trees, and coloring. That's literally all the 3 things I think about. But
I love it.
But just kind of switching gears is something that has allowed me to keep up that energy.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to not have an idea anymore. Like I embrace taking risks because I know it's been proven in any type of thing that you make that, you got to take that risk,
Right.
If you'll learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
If it could be, don't do that again.
right.
Yeah, and that's fine. That is totally
Hey, I'll
cool.
take those.
Yeah.
And we need those moments
Yeah.
to be like, oh, don't do that, to
Yeah.
then find where we should do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the church a little bit, because you did this, right?
Yes.
First Christian Church.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? How did that come about?
Oh, it was amazing. It was terrifying.
Was it?
Yes. And I am so grateful to work for a community that supports, they're like advocates for artists.
Yeah.
They have an art academy in there. I work there.
Okay.
I'm an instructor there, and I've been
Okay.
working there. We actually, at our last meeting, we couldn't even figure out how long I've been working there.
Really?
We were like, let's look it up, and then we got distracted, and I'm not really sure.
Really?
But I think it's been about 6 or 7 years that I've worked there now.
Okay.
Maybe going on 8.
Oh, wow.
But it was interesting because, they needed a little facelift, got some quotes and things like that. And Pastor Karen is such an artist advocate that she totally encouraged me to just embrace something that might kind of bring a little color to the community.
Right.
So
and you don't see that. Like, you drive by, it's like, wow.
It's like, well, hey, hey there, yeah.
Because you don't really see that you see it in certain parts, but like in Glendora, like it was something that really stood out. In a good way. Let me emphasize.
I will say I did get a little bit of kickback that I did not expect.
Okay.
It wasn't a political statement,
Sure.
which I could see coming from the outside. It's a church. It's it's a historic building. Like I said, I love Glendora, and I am all about, preserving and saving the historic monuments that we've got here.
Right.
It really was a beautification project.
Yeah.
And that paint was donated by a recycling paint center in Irwindale. So it was a collaborative effort in, with eco-friendly materials, and we're trying to beautify our community. And sometimes you offend people, and
you're not going to make everybody
that's okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But that was not the intention.
Sure.
We had the kids came in and added all the butterflies. All of our students came in and created this kind of whimsical place that you could stop by and dream. It's supposed to be for everyone.
Really?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a warm and welcoming, hey, we're Glendora.
Yeah, come on by.
Yeah, come on in.
And it is welcoming. It does. And I remember seeing it for the first time. I just stopped and I was like, wow, I've never seen something like that before.
You know what I will say? I've done several large-scale murals, but that was the first one I had to rent a boom lift, the boom?
Yeah.
And I had to get up there, and I was so nervous. And these people, they just drop the boom off and leave the key. They leave the key. They don't even tell you what to do.
They didn't give you instructions or anything?
I thought you just let any bozo get up here and
Oh, wow.
I called them and they're like, yeah, you just turn it on. You'll see the instructions are right there. And I was like, okay.
Wow, you're really trusting.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I tackled some challenges
Wow.
and fears doing that thing, and the hardest part actually was being in the boom. It's not big, and I paint directly out of the bucket. So what I didn't realize is that I usually just set up all the paints and I just dip and I go, but not that many fit.
So you have to be like intentional with.
Yeah, so I had to kind of,
interesting.
go up and down and all around, and I mean it was
How long did it take?
a great experience.
Right.
You know what? I had my teacher and artist friend, Adam Weiser. He helped me, I'd say I think it took us 4 days, 4 to 7 days.
Really?
Yeah. Which is actually a pretty great turnaround.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, about a week. The most time really goes into the prep. I would say if I know what I'm doing, I can just
do it.
Just go for it.
Sure.
But if I'm kind of thinking about it as I go, it could be open-ended, how that goes. Yeah. But inside, there's also, I'm working on it's like an extended project now. There's clouds going all around in there. So
really?
Yeah, so if you walk upstairs into the Art Academy in the classrooms, we have an ongoing cloud scape.
Oh, that's cool.
To create a dreamy environment for the students. Teach a ceramics class there.
Really?
Brought my mug.
I love it.
I'm a big fan of anything handmade.
And it's trees. That's
it's trees. Yeah, it all collides.
I love it.
So
that's amazing.
So I'm on a mission to continue doing that.
Yeah.
And
that's really cool. And as far as the Art Academy goes, I'm not super familiar with it. My daughter is really big into art. She's only 6, but she loves it.
Nice.
I don't have the patience, but she'll sit there for hours and color every little thing, and I'm like, how? But I'm curious, selfishly too, but for everyone that maybe doesn't know, what is that Art Academy? What is the ages, times? What is that program?
It is all ages. It's all year-round art classes.
Okay.
So it's from elementary to adult.
Really?
So I basically do one of each. I have 5 to 8-year-olds, 9 to 14-year-olds, and then adults.
Wow.
So there are opportunities there for cooking, sewing.
Really?
I wish I could do those things. Like I want to take those classes, but I'm always teaching at the same time as them. So but I do the painting, drawing, and then ceramics. We have an amazing wheel thrower teacher. We have a mosaic and tile glass teacher.
Really?
Yeah, so we just kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
There's this new class, Blue Zone Cooking, which it looks amazing. I wish I could take that.
Really?
But I don't think a lot of people are so familiar, because when I first started working there, I had walked by it every day and really wasn't sure.
Right.
I didn't know that was going on in there.
Yeah, I cross by it all the time, almost daily. That's what when you were talking about, I was like, wait, tell me more.
Yeah. So we have year-round classes in there, and when I go away, when I turn into a pumpkin, I actually collaborate with them and do a make-your-own clay ghost here at the pumpkin patch.
Really?
So I try to do workshops here while
but kind of
the holiday
associated
season goes on, and they also do the empty bowls and empty cups event at Classic Coffee every year.
Yeah.
I'm currently working on some mugs to donate for the empty cups in November.
That's cool.
So they do all kinds of things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Well, I'm gonna definitely look into it, because my son has
bring
been.
your daughter on down.
My daughter. Well, it's funny you say that, because my daughter's really big into that. My son's really wanting to learn how to cook.
Oh my gosh!
I'm literally gonna be like.
Summer has the coolest cooking class. She has the elementary kids, and they get to it is hands on.
Really?
They get to chop. They get to.
How
They
cool.
get to spice. They get to.
That's so cool.
Make
and
all
I
the
don't feel like
recipes.
there's a lot of that anymore. And that's why I've been really pushing my kids to do stuff like that. It's so easy nowadays that they just get stuck on an iPad or whatever. But I want them to learn real life stuff.
It's absolutely true.
Important.
Working with your hands is so important. And so we have a lot of opportunities there that I'm just so grateful to be able to continue doing that. I'm like a big kid, you
Yeah.
know, like you said, I know that you're an artist, you're
Right.
a creative person, and you know, you're always that little kid inside.
Yep.
And I think offering that is gonna it goes really far.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is cool. And I could see the value in helping kids do it, because being a teacher, I feel like, is another, I've said this to somebody else, but being a teacher in something like this is a whole other skill.
Right.
Because my son wanted to learn some music and I was trying to teach him, but it's just a whole other thing. 'Cause me, I'm like, this is how you do it. And it's just do it.
Oh my gosh,
you know?
it's so funny you said that, because
I struggle with that.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
why I said that becoming a teacher it actually made me a better artist, because I didn't know why I knew how to do something.
Yeah.
And I had so many great teachers and mentors that I learned from, but when it came time to be my turn, I was like, wait,
Yeah.
it literally starts from every step. It's like, you can't just say, all right, draw a picture. You have to say,
Right.
find your pencil.
Right.
You know, those little tiny nuances that you forget when you were first learning. You just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Right, right.
And so that was like kind of what helped me walk through with the kids, which I myself was like, oh, you know, I'm still that big kid. I should follow those rules too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because for me with music too, I didn't even think about it. Like, some of it just came natural. Like, I never was taught that. It came out. I don't, you know. And so, like, for my son to ask, I was like, I don't know. I just did it.
Right.
You know? And
Right.
it's like, sometimes and it was hard to lay out and, like you said, to break it down.
Sure.
And I feel like once you learn that, it's like you said, it takes
Yeah.
your art, or it takes whatever it is, to a whole nother level, because now you're able to break it down from start
Right.
to,
Right.
you know.
And that's what helped me like kind of switch over into a business mind too, because as a creative person, I'm a little all over the place. And that definitely was something that helped me
Yeah.
kind of find my order of operations, I guess. And
Right.
then within that, you get to be creative and make decisions, and
Yeah.
it's its own, you know, I see it's like art is a lifestyle,
Absolutely.
and it can kind of become a whole bunch of cool things.
Totally.
My sister, though, she is my right hand, my right brain,
Okay.
my right hand man
Yeah.
in business and in life, and she's a musician too.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
Okay.
she works at the Performing Arts Center at Citrus.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah.
program, but it's really awesome. I took some classes over there too, just
Really?
because it's a great place. You know, it's,
Okay. Does she help with the lots at all?
Oh,
or-
yeah, she does.
You guys
She's-
are both in it.
Yep, we're in it, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's our family.
Yeah.
Our family legacy.
Yeah, continuing it on.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, this has been really fun. I want to be respectful of your time. If anybody wants to get a hold of you or reach out to any of the endeavors you're doing, where's one place that they could go? Whoever's listening, you know, where can they go to find
You know
events,
what?
anything else coming up?
I would say if you follow me at The Wild Noble,
Okay.
you can find everything when it comes to like the seasonal things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Active on
active on there.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Active. I'm pretty active. I'm
There you
so
go.
active. I don't know. Or my personal page is Mary Be Me on
Okay.
Instagram,
Yeah.
which also has a link to my my business. But
Awesome.
you know, that's kind of my main platform.
Yeah.
Where I try to keep everyone updated with what I'm doing.
Sure.
And I separate my personal and like teacher art projects from the business.
I see.
I wasn't sure if I was supposed to combine those things.
Well,
Still kind of learning,
Yeah.
so I thought, you know, we'll just
yeah.
spread out. So those two places, that's where I am.
That's
or you
awesome.
could just literally come here,
Just
and I'll probably
show
see
up.
you in like 10 minutes.
Either here or across the street.
across the street. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. I love what you do.
Thank you. And it's been great talking to you. And I just want to emphasize, like, the people that have mentioned you to come on here was really awesome to hear, because I already had you in mind, but then I got like 3 or 4 messages. Hey, did you guys ever consider Mary? We gotta, like,
Oh, and then
so-
I know when I saw what you were doing, I was like, oh, I want to play. Like,
Yeah. So, and then I was like, okay, she's another artist too. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get into the weeds of like the creative side of things, but
as it should be.
yeah.
Yes.
No, but
Yes.
thank you for coming on, and I really appreciate having you on.
Oh, my pleasure.
The community appreciates you for everything you're doing, and I want to emphasize that.
Oh,
because-
I can't tell you how much support and love we've received from them, and it's been my greatest pleasure getting to know people like around town.
Yeah.
And you know, I'll see you soon. It's almost time for Christmas.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I know the year's going fast.
Yeah.
Well, until next time, Mary, thank you for coming on. Everybody else, listen to the following episodes coming up. Check out Mary and all of the stuff she's doing. She's doing some amazing work in the town. So we'll catch you guys in the next video.
All right.